all the state laws separate those two transactions, treat them differently. Different rules for the creditors.
And is that important, how they treat them? Why is that important?
Well, for example, just to start off, the maximum interest rate on a loan versus a credit sale.
What is it? What is it on a credit sale, the maximum interest rate?
Well, they don't call it interest. They call it a time price differential.
Okay.
Which is basically your
or a finance charge. I've seen that as well.
They call it a finance charge, but it's basically it's a time price differential. That's the technical term they use in the what do you call that? The laws.
the code, the UCC.
Right. Yeah, so they differentiate it. So if I pay for something cash today, if I want to pay for it over time, I'm going to pay more. So that's called the time price differential. So it's not interest that you're paying.
What's the resulting amount of the payment as a percentage? Like, for instance, here in Texas, and I'll just speak to that because I'm not licensed in other states, generally 18% is the maximum usury charge, usury being an amount that's too much to charge, that they've imposed on a lot of categories of debt.
Right.
And it's designed, for instance, everybody hates payday loans unless you need them, right? But it's designed to ensure that you're not caught in a debt cycle, right? Where you're unable to afford to pay down the principal because you can barely afford the interest.
Right.
With those laws protecting somebody getting a traditional loan, how's it work instead? And what are the numbers under a...
So in the auto industry, it's based on, at least here in Texas, it's based on the year of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So in Texas, a car that's 1 or 2 years old has they don't call it an interest rate again, they call it, they calculate the time price differential by something called an add-on rate, which here in Texas is it's 10%, but that translates into 18% APR, what we know as APR. But that's just for a car that's 1 or 2 years old.
And it goes, up,
higher,
right?
As the years get older.
So are you telling me effectively that by adhering to the law under one of those sorts of contracts, they can essentially charge a higher interest rate based off the make of the car than they could if it was a traditional loan as we perceive it here in Texas that would be capped at no more than 18%?
I'll say they can't charge any interest.
It's not interest, right?
So,
but the amount that you pay would have been more.
Yeah, the effective, and that's what the truth in lending disclosure is about. When you look at the truth in lending box on a contract, on any kind of financing contract, you'll see any APR, which is annual percentage rate, which is sort of the way the truth in lending disclosure says any type of cost of credit you need to disclose in this manner, but it's not all interest on loans because not everything's a loan. And I mean, I would think that probably a whole lot of transactions are not, how many loans versus credit sales exist.